A game-changing power has just been activated. Do you think it was the right move? What up, guys? Welcome to the channel. I'm Fresh.
And I'm Morgan.
And then tonight, we're going to be recapping Big Brother 27. But before we do, we want to thank everybody that subscribed. We want to thank you for all the support. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And let's get into it.
Okay. So let's start by where we left off in our recap. So Amy got evicted. Lauren became head of household, surprisingly. No shade, but surprisingly. And she nominated, during her head of household reign, she nominated Keanu, Kelly, and Will to go on the block.
Which Kelly volunteered for the third time.
For the third time. She really needs to stop doing that. But she volunteered again to go on the block. So, of course, they're going to put her up and take her up on her offer. Even her allies.
Yep.
Okay. So, but then during the veto competition, Keanu wins. So he gets to pull himself down. He was the target. So they're like, Lauren's like, I don't know who to put up. Eventually, she puts up Adrian. And Adrian actually ends up getting evicted.
Which I'm not sure if that was good for her game. But I mean, she's kind of, not saying she's invisible, but she's under the radar right now.
She is under the radar. She's not really a threat. And I think because she was a super fan, she thought she would come in here and use her smarts, which she has smarts and skill and strategy, but I don't think she's able to utilize it in a way that she had originally thought.
Yeah, and I'm starting to realize just because you're a super fan doesn't mean you're going to be like great at the game. Once you get inside the house, it's a totally different piece. Everything that you thought you was going to do doesn't seem to happen. So, yeah, but I mean, she won HOH, and yeah, who went home?
Adrian. And speaking of super fans, he was one. He thought he was going to be a beast at this game and become like a top player, which didn't end up working out for him.
Yeah, I believe in his interview, he said he was going to be the best Big Brother player to ever play the game, and nobody has ever analyzed the game as much as he did or as he has. So, but I didn't see it.
Yeah. But maybe he'll get a chance to play again. Who knows? But let's get into what's happening with the remaining players from this episode.
Okay, let's get into it.
All right. So I want to start by shouting out my girl, Ava. So at the top of the episode, we kind of see behind the scenes, not behind the scenes, but in the storage closet, she ends up talking to Zach and Vinny. And they show kind of a recap before everyone votes. Everyone voted out Adrian. And so she pulls them in and they are kind of trying to feel her out. But what ends up happening is she ends up telling both of them, hey, basically, if you side with keeping Adrian, you're going to get grouped in with the 4 individuals that are currently the house's targets right now. And you're going to be kind of guilty by association, which that was kind of a power move to me. I was like, go girl, go Ava.
Ava is becoming like my favorite player right now.
Yes.
Like she's super funny. She's good with the house. She has a good social game. And she actually helped Benny and what's his name, Zach, not vote for Adrian, because if they did, then they would have become a target, which is crazy because the house is kind of like split in a way. And if they would have went over to their side, it would have been kind of like even. But in this game, like you just don't know what happens. Like I said, week to week, day by day, somebody's always the target. There's always going to be a target. And, Keanu has made himself a big target.
Yes. Ava is very witty. Yeah, I just like her. She's also becoming one of my favorite players. I think she was already one of my favorite players, but her little conversation with Zach and Vinny solidified it for me. Yeah, so speaking of Keanu is the biggest target right now, and followed up by, not necessarily in this order, but Riley, Catherine, and Kelly. So those are the
Uh,
four people that voted to keep Adrian, and they are kind of the house's target. So Vinny and Zach kind of have some making up to do with those four people.
yeah, they do, but I mean, the house is kind of split, so you just need to go over there to Mickey, Morgan, and that side of the house for right now. But like I said, you're in a good place to where you can really go to both sides, but you don't want to keep doing that, and you got to choose a side because eventually one of the sides is going to take power, and what you're going to do after that? Keep flip flopping. But yeah, I don't, I don't see too much going on with them as right now. They did explain to Keanu and Kelly and who else?
Keanu, Kelly, Riley,
And Riley. And I mean,
Catherine.
Zach is all up with Lauren, so he's trying to protect her, but he was just saying that to save face for Riley and Keanu.
Absolutely. And also before, I'm pretty sure that him and Vinny didn't want to draw a line in the sand because once, if they had sided with Adrian, then it would have been clear cut who they were allied with.
Yeah, but you would have been allied with people who they're playing the game, but not as hard as Mickey and Morgan. Mickey and Morgan are playing the game. They're out there gaming. They're out there talking to everybody, making hitting in their groups, and just like, I want to say taking over the game. But those are the two that I've seen so far. It's been really like,
Sharky.
yeah,
Yeah. And the four targets, I feel like since Vinny and Zach made their decision and decided to keep Will, that they aren't really being forgiven by the four targets. I feel like those people are like, they're not dead to me, like kind of like they don't want to work with
they
Zach
don't.
and Vinny so
Yeah,
closely anymore. Well,
they don't trust them.
Keanu sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Keanu recognizes that he does kind of have to work with Vinny because he doesn't have his like a bunch of options on who he can work with, but he says he's not going to trust him.
I mean, he do only options he have is Riley, Catherine, Kelly. That's only four. You still got the other side of the house that he has to try to work with, which he should have tried to work with. Even Rachel was trying to work with him, but he thinks he's running the game, think he's masterminding, but really he's not.
True. Yeah. So I think that those four in particular are kind of feeling the heat as we go into this HOH competition. All right. So let's talk about it. What is the HOH competition this week?
Well, I think this was a fun HOH competition. I'm surprised nobody got hurt. Ava had a few moments where she was slipping and falling, but basically you got four buzzers you got to hit, and it's a little maze of balance beams, and you got to hit 1 through 4. And the fastest time will move on in the first round. But they had to pick groups. I think a group of 4.
Yes. So originally, so they had the 3 rounds, like you said. And the first round, you had to get in groups of 4, but that left one person out of the group. So the one person that was left that was trying to get into the group was Kelly. And I felt really, really bad for her because it's kind of like that schoolyard pick. Not that I was the one left out back in my day, but it just made my heart like sink for her. And
just for a little bit.
Just for a little bit, not for long, because she wasn't on the other side of the house, was glad they were trying to keep her out. But then she was like, okay, I'm out. And it was revealed that she just advances to the second round.
Which I would have rather have that.
Truly.
Yeah, because if you got to advance to the second round and you don't have to really compete in the first time, you could actually see what's going. Well, I don't think she could have watched.
She did watch. She was able to watch from the first round from the sidelines.
Yeah, so she had a little. I'm saying she didn't have much of an advantage because it's better to
practice.
Try it out.
Yeah. Okay, so she gets to the second round, and basically a whole group after this first round, one group of 4, not group of 4, 4 people can be chosen to leave. So essentially, Keanu single-handedly wins the first round, and immediately he picks Will, Ashley, Mickey, and Morgan to get out, and they're no longer eligible for head of household.
Yeah, he just basically showed his hand and who he was going to nominate. So, I mean, hey, you just showed your game.
Yeah. And then it was kind of funny going into round 2. Rachel immediately clung to
Yeah, she did.
Keanu. She did that because she was like, he had the fastest time, so I'm either winning with him or I'm sabotaging him.
Yeah, she definitely was trying to sabotage, which is smart because
Super smart.
she's trying to protect her side of the house, her girls, as she say. And Beast is the first one. I think he got under what? No,
20.
he actually. So Zach got like 30 something. I don't know. I
23
can't
or
remember.
something like that.
Yeah,
23
no,
something. And he
yeah,
got like 23 flat or something like that.
yeah. And then Morgan got the second lowest, and then Keanu, like not even that much of a time difference. How he won. So he was already like going into the second round, like, oh yeah, I can do this. So it was only smart for Rachel to sit there and try to help sabotage him. But she didn't have to do much because Vinny was the one that failed.
Yeah, so Vinny was in their group and he ended up falling. I think Rachel was actually trying to win, but they lost because Vinny ended up falling on the balance beam. And if you fall, you're going to have to go back and you're still trying to get the lowest time as a group. So who won that round? Zach?
Oh.
Zach, Jimmy, and...
No, yeah, Zach, Jimmy, and Riley.
And Riley won that round.
Yeah, because I think the second group with Kelly, they didn't get it.
They didn't get it. So those two groups are now eliminated and it's down to those 3. So now in the final round, they get split and it's an individual competition at this point between Zach, Riley, and Jimmy. So it essentially comes down to Zach and Riley, and then Riley goes last and
He straight beasted
that competition. Like I kind of saw him when he went in the second round. I was like, kind of fast. And then he went in this round and he was like 17 seconds.
Yeah. I think 17 something.
Yeah.
But I mean,
so fast.
You saw like he was gonna win after like what he hit the third button because he was just zipping through them beams.
So zippy. And he was super ecstatic because he knew his back was up against the wall. Of course, Keanu was ecstatic because essentially that's the only person he trusts right now.
Yep.
And the rest of the house was like, oh man, but guess what? They're still out there.
There is a game-changing power.
Yes.
And it was activated.
So as you guys know, Mickey, she holds that mystery HOH power, interrogation power. And she's kind of going back and forth with Morgan about whether she should activate it or not. But she's like, no, I think this is the time. I'm activating it. And people are like, comes over the intercoms. And they all run to the living room when the power is activated. And they're like, whoa, what's happening?
Yeah, don't forget that as she was trying to talk to Morgan, Ashley kept on coming in the room.
Yeah, Mickey was trying to talk to Morgan.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He was trying to talk to Morgan, and Ashley somehow was always popping up, so she couldn't really talk to her. Which I was thinking, like, why don't she just tell Ashley? Ashley is a lawyer, so she can probably like talk.
But Ashley played her part well during this interrogation. So basically, the head of household, Riley, now has 3 minutes to interrogate every single house guest to see if he can uncover who activated the power, who has the power. If he guesses right, then he'll keep his HOH. If he guesses wrong, then he's dethroned. And he starts his interrogation. I don't really think he does much interrogating.
No, he just was asking, who got it? Who got it? Didn't really try to figure out if they had it. Whoever he was interviewing, he was just like, yeah. Actually, he was threatening people at first.
Oh,
like, let me know you had
pissed.
it. Let me know if you got it, or you're going to be on the block. And I'm just like, bro, you still got to calm down because you don't want to go on the block if you don't figure it out. And it just seems like people were giving him who had the power, but he had his mind set on Ashley. And then when he talked to Ashley, it was like, I'm not saying she was doing it on purpose, but it was just seeming like she didn't know. So with her not really saying anything or not knowing who did it, he was just like, yeah, it was her.
Yes. But when they first announced the power, you're so right. He was so pissed. He kind of went off and was like, if you lie to me, etc., etc. Yeah, he was just like really mad. And he like zoomed in on Ashley. But before um this, he had already, says him and Keanu had suspected that the power may be out there and that it may be activated and that Ashley or Mickey could have it. They suspected that first, but he just zoomed in on Ashley. And yeah, that kind of just, when he talked to everybody, he wasn't really asking them questions. He was just like trying to figure out who it was or was not without asking people questions. So it was really kind of ironic when Mickey came in there. He didn't ask her questions. He kind of just talked to her
Yeah.
and she was silent and then she left. She didn't say anything. But what I found was kind of distasteful in my mind is when Ashley finished her interrogation, she went back into the living room and then Catherine was kind of like going in on her. Like I think she was speaking to her like pretty disrespectfully and rude. And she was like, "Why are you smiling?" She was kind of just like, I was like, whoa, she's like really mad because she was saying that Riley was close to tears because, his HOH may be dethroned. And I'm like, I get the emotions, but at the same time,
It's a game.
It's a game. It's a game.
You knew like there was another power out there in the first place.
It's a game changing power.
Yeah.
That can or cannot be activated. And it just happened to be activated right now. It could have happened at any moment. So.
But also, like I said, nobody can hold water. So with Keanu telling Zach who his nominations were going to be, and then Zach going there and telling Mickey and Morgan and Ashley who his nomination is going to be, which comes to the beginning with Ava talking to Vinny and Zach, that kind of, I guess, put something in their heads. And now he's working with Ashley and Mickey and Morgan. So they was able to find out. So she was like, yeah, I need to use my power because if not, I'm be on the block and one of us can be going home. So
that's what really started it. Which Zach was always aligned with that side. I feel like he kind of plays the middle though, goes back and forth, but he had like some sort of gameplay with that side of the house. So he felt more strongly being with them. And to your point, that goes back to Ava. He didn't want to be on I don't want to say the losing side or the smaller side. He wanted to be with the majority alliance. So he was like, let me just tell them, get it out there so that they'll have a heads up and can kind of play their game without being blindsided.
Yeah. And it was kind of like when he did speak with Mickey and Morgan, giving them a heads up and then she was able to use her power. It was just like, now that's the side he chose. But going back to what Catherine was saying to Ashley, I get it. She was sticking up for her boo. I that's her boo now. But I mean, she came out smiling. She could have been nervous. She could have just, wasn't like she did it on purpose or it was malicious. But it was just funny because, Rachel came, was sticking up for Ashley, her best friend in the house now. As I think because it was like Amy and Ashley and Rachel. So I guess naturally that would have been like her closest ally. But I would say this: Rachel needs to learn how to, have some comebacks ready because she was just like, you need to sit down and
to Catherine.
And Catherine was like, I am set.
Yeah, and then they just walked away. They're like, let's go. But I'm glad that Rachel did stand up for Ashley because I thought Catherine was being a bully. But yeah, her comeback game could be a little stronger, similar to Jimmy's.
Sometimes you just keep your mouth shut. Like she comes out there laughing or smiling. Yeah, she's smiling because it's over with.
Yeah.
But hey, the only thing that could happen is Catherine, you making yourself a target. Even though I'm not saying you're a target, but you're on the other side of the house. You're just like a low target. You're not Keanu, Riley, or Kelly.
But you're fourth.
Yeah.
To be clear. Okay. So Riley finishes his interrogations. He comes back out into the living room and he's like, I think it is dun, 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 Ashley. And he like points at her and then he says, whoever has the power, please stand up. And Ashley is just sitting there smiling ear to ear.
Ear to ear.
Ear to ear. Sitting there chilling. And so then eventually Mickey stands up and Riley goes off. He's like, Mickey, you lied to me, etc., etc. Like he's getting so mad.
But you saw those signs from Riley. Just if you watch live feeds, stuff like that, you could see like he has like he has a short temper. Like he does get kind of disrespectful to the not kind of, he is disrespectful to the ladies. But yeah, he just went off saying you lied to me, but technically he didn't lie because he never asked her if she had the power. He asked her, who do you think has the power? So he didn't really lie to her. He was just, mad because he just lost his HOH.
Yeah. So he is now dethroned. Mickey is now the HOH. And in her response, she's like, honestly, it's just a game. Like when he's like going extremely upset at her. And she said she apologizes, but at the end of the day, it's just a game. They exchanged the head of household key, and now that's hers. And yeah.
But I will say this. Mickey was calm in that moment. She didn't go off. She didn't yell. She was just like, hey, it's just a game. Just, she was cool, calm, and collected.
Very level headed, very HOH like. So I'm
Exactly.
excited to see her reign, and I'm excited to see who she's going to nominate, which I have guesses, but I'm curious as to who you think she's going to nominate.
Yeah, and I'm just guessing it's not going to be the same. Well, actually, no, it's going to be the same people besides, Will. Will probably not going to see the block.
Probably not. It's not going to be Will. Not probably. It's not going to be Will. But I have a feeling that it's going to be Kelly, even though Kelly was like, I'm not volunteering to go on the block anymore. And I was like, listen here, you are not going to have to volunteer to go on the block. You're going up. It's going to be Kelly, Keanu, and the third one, maybe Riley.
Yeah, and this is just guesses. We don't really know.
We don't really know.
Who put up.
Yeah. But I think
I have those same guesses.
those are the same. Yeah, I think Kelly, she's kind of an interesting spot. Like her threat level has definitely increased. Well, one, she's easy to put on the block because she's been there before many times. She's volunteered. And she's also won competitions to pull herself off the block. So that makes her more of a target.
And I don't think many people like her personal level because from what I've heard, she is annoying. And you can tell just by the way she be talking in her diaries and stuff like that. But she made herself a threat. Also, you already know what Keanu did. He made himself a threat. And you saw the interaction with Riley and Mickey. I will say this. Whoever wins that veto, I believe Catherine might go up, just a simple fact because she's in that group. But, we'll see.
We'll see. It was a thrilling episode tonight. I quite enjoyed it. How about you?
Yeah, not much that went on, but just enough to keep our interest.
Let us know how you feel about it.
Yeah, let us know in the comments what you thought of the episode. Did you think that Mickey made a good gameplay by activating her power? And who you think she's gonna nominate? Let us know in the comment.
All right, and that's it for now.
Yeah, so thank you to everybody who made it this far. Thank you for all the support. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see y'all on Wednesday.
Bye.
All right, peace.